If you want to know the 3 ways to tap into your hard-earned equity, this is for you.
You might be in a scenario where you own a home right now or potentially to look to purchase a home and the home prices have gone up over time, right? Maybe now you have $200,000 to $300,000 of equity, but the problem that a lot of people run into is that equity is tied up into their home. So the problem that they run into is how can we use that tied equity to go purchase or build a guest home? So these are the 3 different ways that you can actually call it tap into your equity. The first, most obvious one is you could sell the home and go buy a home that already has the single family home and a guest home, or maybe a multi-unit. But that might not be practical because maybe you like the area that you live in right now. Number 2 is you could pay for all the renovations out of pocket to build the guest home and just essentially increase your equity. But most people don't have, call it $100,000 to $200,000 laying around to build multiple guest homes or a guest home. So the third option, which is the most popular, is tapping into your equity using some sort of loan to go build that guest home. So when it comes to tapping into your equity, these are the 3 main loans that I believe you should know. So with a cash out, what happens is you actually replace and get rid of your current loan and go into a new loan at current market interest rates. So imagine a scenario where you had a very low interest rate, maybe in 2020 or 2021, you would actually get rid of that into a higher interest rate, maybe it's 5, 6, or 7%. So most of the time that doesn't make sense unless you're doing some crazy debt consolidation. So in my opinion, this is very common in lowering interest rate cycles. So the second type is a HELOC. So remember I said in the beginning with the cash out, you get rid of your current loan and you go into new market rates. So with the HELOC, what happens is you get to keep your current mortgage, right? Maybe it's a 2 or 3% interest rate. And with the HELOC, you get a second loan that's at current market rates. So essentially you get to keep the very low interest rate that's at a higher mortgage balance. And then with the HELOC, maybe you only need like 100,000, that'll be at current market rates. So most of the time that makes the most sense if you have a very low interest rate for your first mortgage. And when do I normally see HELOCs happening? It usually happens when interest rates are on the higher end and they're starting to come down, right? The reason is because HELOCs are actually adjustable, and it's adjustable based on prime rate. So what you don't want to do is get when rates are really low with a HELOC and use it and then it doubles or triples, right, your payment. That can be really scary. It's way more popular when rates are kind of at its peak and coming down. So that way you know kind of your worst case payment. And the third option is a HELOAN. I know all these crazy terms, right? Essentially with the HELOC, it's adjustable, but with the HELOAN, it's very similar where you get a second mortgage, so you get to keep your first mortgage. The HELOAN is a fixed option. So usually those rates are higher, so you want to use it in a smart way. So with a HELOAN, it's very common in an increasing interest rate cycle because of that fixed option. You're gonna mitigate a lot of risk. So what I'm gonna do is go to the board of knowledge and show you visually what this looks like and when to use those 3 types of loans. All right, welcome to the board of knowledge here. I drew out an interest rate cycle, kind of a baseline where average rates have been. Rates go up over time and then sometimes they go down. At the time of filming, we're kind of in this period right now. So what I'm gonna try to show you is the 3 types of loans to tap into your equity and visually show you when to use those. So remember the first one was cash out. So the most common times that we see cash outs is when we're in a lowering interest rate cycle. So right around this period right here, cash out. So let's talk about the second option, which is the HELOC or home equity line of credit. And if you remember, that's really popular in high interest rate cycles. So where that is on this graph is right here. This is visually where it usually happens, and I see it the most popular. And the last one, which is the third option, which is a HELOAN, which is, remember, a fixed second loan. The HELOC is adjustable. So the reason why, remember, we recommend the HELOC kind of in higher interest rate cycles is just so you know your worst case payment. And the HELOAN is more popular in this section right here. Cash out, like I mentioned, happens usually in the lowering cycle, just right over here. HELOAN happens in the increasing cycle. So now that we talked about all the things that we covered, why don't we actually take a look at one of the guest homes that I built.
This is one of the 3 guest homes that I built with my equity.
So what do you think about my guest home? So there's obviously a lot of nuances to go from A to Z. You also might be wondering, when I was talking about the 3 different types of ways to tap into your equity, which is the cash out, HELOC or HELOAN, when to actually exit the loan. That's actually what we cover in the discovery and blueprint meeting, which is in the link down below. So if you're interested, I hope to see you there. That's where we're gonna go over your today goals and your tomorrow goals, and my job is to reverse engineer that. So aside from that, I'm Nathan Udomsry signing out. I'm rooting for you guys, and I hope to see you soon.